Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash as well as the rest of DC TV. So we still have just over a week and a half or so until we return to DC TV, on our TVs when The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow return on April 21st and then Batwoman and Supergirl following them on April 26th. But of course we have been on this extended break due to the ongoing pandemic around this planet that we call Earth, and it seems we will be impacted by it for months to come. Hopefully not too long, but definitely the next couple of months. But the roll-on from that will affect the remainder of this year for many things. One of those things being the production of DC TV on the CW for the next seasons for all the shows. And one of the questions I've received the most in regards to what is going on at the moment is whether next season's crossover, which would be set to air at the end of this year, would be affected. And of course we are going to go over all of that as well as the alternate possibilities that have already been discussed by the people involved with the various shows, so yeah. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know all of your various opinions in the comment section down below. Which one of these are you excited for the most? Do you have any ideas for your own crossovers between shows or even like a big crossover potentially? Let me know all of your various opinions in the comment section down below. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video and you're just, having fun, drop a like on the video. It takes 2 seconds, helps the channel out during this period. Now, the first thing to talk about is, of course, what's going on for next season and the time we would normally get the annual crossover. Now, from what we can gather, the earliest the shows would be able to return to filming in Vancouver, in Canada, where they are located, is around late June to early July, with mid-June being the best possible outcome by the sounds of it. Now, early July is usually when they would return to filming for new seasons, so The Flash, for example, and I think Batwoman would be in a similar situation. They would need to film 2 or 3 episodes to wrap their current seasons, which they legally have to do, and then they will most likely move straight into filming for their next seasons without really a stutter. Like, pretty much they would treat moving from the finale of this season into the episode 1 of next season as if they were moving from like episode 14 to 15. So that means they would maybe be about a month behind schedule for filming for their next seasons, roughly. Now, the crossovers usually start filming around early October from memory. Crisis for this season, however, started in, I think, late September, like the last week, but there was more to that in regards to scale as well as episodes, so it makes sense that they started a bit earlier for that. So if they were to fit in a crossover around the same time that we would normally get it, they would be a few weeks behind schedule with it, which might result to a more simple story, which is less intensive in regards to a filming schedule. But even if they were on time, one thing that would affect them heavily would be Melissa Benoist's pregnancy. Of course, she plays Supergirl. Now, she is due roughly in September, I think, for her birth, maybe late August, but I think it's September. And also, if you include her maternity leave, she wouldn't be back up and running for Supergirl action until like mid to late October, probably at the best. So this could lead to a possible and unlikely situation where Supergirl is either not in the crossover or has a very, very small part. There are just a couple of things that get in the way in regards to the outlook for next season's big annual crossovers, so it makes you wonder if they may postpone whatever story that we're thinking of until the following season. And due to delaying the big crossover, we could end up getting a handful of smaller crossovers, but if that were to happen, what could these smaller crossovers be? And by smaller crossovers, I just mean between 1 or like 2 shows, maybe 3 shows, but in most cases 2 shows, like what we had back in the day with the Flash and Arrow crossovers. So we will start off with 2 crossovers which have been spoken about before in regards to work being made towards them happening next season, and the first one of these is a crossover between Supergirl and Batwoman. Now, this has been something that both set of fans from each show have wanted since like Batwoman was really greenlit, and they have been making it fairly clear that the Kate and Kara friendship is sort of like the new take on the friendship that Oliver and Barry had. Not trying to replace it and say, hey, that never existed, but it's sort of like that new friendship between 2 main characters. Now, Supergirl and Batwoman share Sunday nights at the moment, and you think that would be the same at some point next season. Not at the start, because it seems Supergirl probably won't start until 2021 at the earliest, so in the back half we could see a 2-part crossover story on the same night over both shows. Batwoman being the first part and Supergirl the second. It could be a fairly cool crossover for fans of the 2 shows. It would be interesting to see who the villain or main threat would be and who they would take on, so yeah. Now, next up is one that was only recently brought up through interviews, and I'm sure most of you have heard about it, and that is a Flash and Stargirl crossover. So Stargirl is the newest show coming into the Arrowverse, and as we know from the last several minutes or so of the Crisis crossover event, Stargirl is located on the new Earth 2 in the DC multiverse. So for this crossover to happen, the citizens of Earth Prime have to find out about the multiverse soon. Like, they can't just say, oh, we didn't know about it, and then the crossover happens randomly. You'd think they'd have it happen before. Personally, I think it would be pretty damn cool if it was a reveal at the end of this season of The Flash, maybe a setup for whatever is going down next season. But they could easily make it, happen that the multiverse is not discovered, but rediscovered next season in the lead up to whatever that crossover or whenever that crossover would take place. Now, I think this would just be a one episode thing, like just on The Flash, just due to like the whole production schedule and filming locations of Stargirl. It would be hard to make it work where both have crossover episodes in the same week. Couldn't have it Flash has it then like 3 months later Stargirl has it. It wouldn't work. Now, we could have Barry going to Earth 2 and like interacting with the JSA on that Earth and all of that. I think that would be fairly and very cool. And now we'll just go over two smaller crossovers which have good chances at happening as well. The first of these is actually a Flash and Black Lightning crossover, which a lot of people have been asking for. So Stargirl films in Atlanta, that's where they film, and so does Black Lightning. So we could easily have it that Barry appears in an episode of Black Lightning while Grant Gustin is down there filming for Stargirl, or vice versa, he could be down there filming for Black Lightning first, then go to Stargirl. Either way it works. So what could happen is they just have him spend like a 2, maybe 3 week period in Atlanta filming these two crossovers. Obviously the big thing is that he'd pretty much be the only one there for those episodes outside of maybe like an intro. So maybe like 5 minutes at the beginning of each episode, he's in Star Labs and then goes off. Obviously, you would probably want an episode of The Flash with Black Lightning in it as well. So you have a Black Lightning episode with The Flash in it, and then a Flash episode with Black Lightning in it. But they could have it that both episodes just take place in Freeland, where Black Lightning resides. But then again, due to what went down on Black Lightning in Season 3, like the latest season, who knows if it would even be in Freeland? I guess that's a question for another day. But I think that would be the easiest way to have a 2-part crossover over both of the shows rather than just one show. I don't think it's probably, I know it sounds weird, but I don't think it's really worth having just The Flash appear on Black Lightning. If anything, if they're only going to have one episode, you'd want Black Lightning appearing on The Flash. But yeah, I don't know. And the other smaller crossover with a good chance at happening is that of Superman and Lois having a crossover with, and this is the obvious one, Supergirl. I mean, this just explains itself. I think the best story for this would be that an old Superman villain like reemerges and the two Kryptonian cousins have to take them down. Or they could even have it that like one episode takes place in a city, whether that be National City or Metropolis, and then the other episode takes place in Smallville, where Superman and Lois is pretty much going to be completely set in. And this is an obvious crossover to take place and will be a pretty cool one to see go down as well. I guess it brings up who could potentially be the threat. Like, I don't think you'd want like a Metallo situation. Metallo's been on the show a lot. Parasite, I guess they could bring him back if they wanted to. It'd be interesting to see who they'd have be this threat just for like a 2-episode thing. But at the moment, it seems Superman and Lois and Supergirl will be on different nights. So I guess you'd probably want Superman and Lois to be on like the night after Supergirl, just so the crossover flows a bit well. But then again, they could have a special week where they're both on the same night. Who knows? And the last thing I wanted to bring up is my dream crossover. This is the one I would love to see happen, hopefully, for the next big crossover, but just at some point at the very least. I've sort of been wanting it to happen for a while, pretty much since like the multiverse was brought in, and that is the Crime Syndicate, or the Crime Syndicate of America. So some of you would already know who they are, but they are pretty much evil Justice League. It's Justice League on another Earth, or the similar characters, but they're the evil, and then on that same Earth, people that we normally associate as being villains are like the heroic group. So you would have the CW Justice League, if you want to call it, like we saw at the end of Crisis. Obviously, they're not called Justice League at this moment, but who knows? Maybe they will eventually. Will they even do a Justice League movie in the next 5 years? Probably not. Why not just call them the Justice League? So you'd have Black Lightning, Batwoman, Flash, Superman, Supergirl, and Martian Manhunter, and their evil counterparts from most likely Earth 3, like in the comics. I mean, Earth 3 doesn't have anything on it at the moment, so just give it to them. And you could use a lot of the characters from the comic version, so Owlman as the counter to Batwoman, Ultraman as the counter to Superman, Superwoman as the counter to Supergirl. She's normally the counter to Wonder Woman, but just make it evil Supergirl. Then there's Power Ring. Obviously, that's like the evil version of Green Lantern, but maybe they could just turn him into like a counter to Black Lightning. So, Black Power, I don't know, could you call him Black Power? I don't know, maybe like Power Lightning or just something, White Lightning probably not, but I don't know, like some sort of counter to Black Lightning, like an evil version of him. Maybe they can make it that Static is over there on that Earth and he's like the evil Black Lightning, who knows. Johnny Quick as the counter to the Flash, and then there's other iterations where there is White Martian involved, so that would be the counter to Martian Manhunter. I personally think this would be very cool, and, you know, I guess it'd be one of the downsides to discovering the multiverse again for the heroes, but the cool thing about this is that you could have cameos or guest stars take the roles of the Crime Syndicate. So they could have an old person or an old actor who played Superman come play Ultraman. They could have Michael Rosenbaum come play the evil version of the Flash, Johnny Quick, because he obviously voiced Wally West in the Flash animated series. Not the Flash animated series, the Justice League animated series. There's a lot of different Easter eggs and cool cameos and guest stars you could do with this that would honestly rival Crisis in regards to just people losing their minds over certain people playing certain characters. I think this would be awesome. Just could be expensive because of all the guest stars with people playing the Crime Syndicate, but it's definitely something I would want to see. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and it shows support. It takes 2 seconds. Let me know your various opinions in the comment section down below. Which one of these smaller crossovers, but so between 2 shows, would you like to see the most? And what's your dream crossover? Do you agree with me with Crime Syndicate? Or do you have another crossover you would love to see from a DC story from the comics? So yeah, let me know all of them in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.